On Energy and Water Development will please come to order. As I was saying to Senator Feinstein, my co-chairman, in effect, both Senator McConnell and Senator Schumer were saying yesterday that Senator McConnell was saying he hopes to begin the appropriations process on the floor on April 18. And Senator Schumer was saying that he intended to support having an appropriations process, and Democrats have all written Senator McConnell saying they want one, and it looks like that everybody wants an appropriations process this year, so we hope very much that's possible. And Senator Feinstein and I will work with our House committee chairs to try to make ours one of the first bills that's available to the majority leader to bring to the floor. We hope to do it in a bipartisan way. And if there are controversial amendments, we hope that those will be offered on the floor of the Senate rather than in the committee. This afternoon, we're having a hearing to review the President's fiscal year 2017 budget request for the National Nuclear Security Administration. Senator Feinstein and I will each have an opening statement. I'll then recognize each senator for up to 5 minutes for an opening statement, alternating between the majority and the minority in the order in which they arrived. We'll turn to our witnesses then for their testimony. General Klotz will present testimony on behalf of the National Nuclear Security Administration and will include the full written statements of all the witnesses in the record. After Senator Klotz, senators will then be recognized for 5 minutes of questions each. First, I would like to thank our witnesses for being here, and also Senator Feinstein, an exceptional co-chairman of this committee. We work together regardless of which party has the majority and usually come up with a pretty good result for the country. Our witnesses today include Lieutenant General Frank Klotz, Administrator of the NNSA, Brigadier General S.L. Lewis, Principal Assistant Deputy Administrator for Military Applications, Ms. Ann Harrington, Deputy Administrator for Defense Nuclear Nonproliferation, and Admiral Frank Caldwell, Deputy Administrator for Naval Reactors. The NNSA is a semi-autonomous agency within the Department of Energy that's responsible for a vital mission, managing our nuclear weapons stockpile, reducing global dangers posed by weapons of mass destruction, and providing the Navy with safe and effective nuclear power. This is the subcommittee's fourth hearing this year on the President's budget request. The NNSA has an important national security mission, faces many challenges. We'll have to make some hard decisions on the most important priorities. The President's 2017 budget request is $12.9 billion, an increase of 2.9% over the fiscal year 2016. My questions today will be on four main areas. One, keeping critical projects on time and on budget. That is a major priority of Senator Feinstein and of mine. Two, effectively maintaining our nuclear weapons stockpile. Three, supporting our nuclear navy. And four, maintaining our vital nuclear workforce. The NNSA is responsible for three of the largest construction projects in the federal government: the uranium facility in Tennessee, the MOX fuel fabrication facility in South Carolina, and the plutonium facility in New Mexico. Combined, these projects could cost more than $20 billion to build. And over the past 4 years, Senator Feinstein and I have worked hard to keep costs from skyrocketing. We want to make sure hard-earned taxpayer dollars are spent wisely and that these projects are on time and on budget. We focused most of our oversight on the uranium facility in Tennessee for the past 5 years. We asked for a red team review headed by Oak Ridge National Laboratory Chief Tom Mason to review the project, which recommended ways to get it back on track. We said that the project had to be completed by 2025 with a cost of no greater than $6.5 billion, and that the design had to be at least 90% completed before we began construction of the nuclear facility. We urged the department to take aggressive steps to get costs under control so we could meet these goals. The facility is off to a good start, but there's a lot more work to do. I'm going to ask you more today about the uranium facility, particularly about your schedule for completing the design and when you anticipate construction can begin. I'd also like to discuss the MOX facility in South Carolina. You have proposed that we stop construction of the MOX fuel fabrication facility and recommended that Congress fund a different process called dilute and disposal. You've said that dilute and disposal alternative will cost less, actually a lot less, and get the material out of South Carolina much sooner than if we continue to fund MOX. General Klotz, I'm particularly interested in your plan for dealing with the 13 tons of plutonium that are currently in South Carolina, and ask that you address this either in your opening statement or questions. Effectively maintaining nuclear weapons. Another major part of your budget maintains our nuclear weapons stockpile, and I want to make sure we're spending those dollars effectively. The budget request includes $1.3 billion to continue the 4 ongoing life extension programs which fix or replace components and weapon systems to make sure they're safe and reliable. The work must be done, but life extension programs are very expensive, so they need to be properly managed. I will ask you about that today. Supporting our nuclear navy. Naval reactors is responsible for all aspects of nuclear power for our submarines and aircraft carriers. Naval reactors has a lot on your plate right now. You're designing a new reactor core for the next class of submarines, refueling a prototype reactor, and building a new spent fuel processing facility. In addition, you have to support the day-to-day operation of 73 submarines and 10 aircraft carriers, including a total of 97 operating reactors. You have about the same number of operating reactors that we have in the commercial world. The small nuclear reactors that naval reactors design and overseas have had an impeccable safety record for more than 60 years. There has, I believe, never been a reactor accident. While life extension programs provide the opportunity to maintain vital skills in many areas, now moving on to those, they do not exercise all of the skills needed for a healthy weapons program. When I had the opportunity to talk to Admiral Caldwell about the Naval Reactors program last week, he told me about his technical base, the men and women who respond when our ships are at sea. I'd like to hear more today about that. With that, I'd like to recognize Senator Feinstein to make her statement.